Hello, it's Carla McLaren, and in this series of videos about each of the 17 emotions that I've identified and work with in dynamic emotional integration and in my books, The Language of Emotion and The Art of Empathy, we are now at the fears, which are a wonderful group of emotions whose job is to help us with instincts, intuition, and understanding when change, novelty, or possible hazards are occurring. There are 6 different fears that I look at, and there's a lot, because their jobs are so important, we need them. So in this video we'll talk about fear, but there's also worry and anxiety, confusion, jealousy, envy, and panic. So we will look at those over the next 6 weeks and see if we can befriend these really important emotions that almost everybody hates, right? That people just don't even want to deal with. Let's look at fear first. This is the Language of Emotion cards that I have available on my site, carlamclaren.com. And in these cards we have the skills that we learn to help us work with each emotion intentionally, and also 17 cards that remind you about what is going on with each emotion and what it needs. Fear I call intuition and action, and its gifts are intuition, instincts, focus, clarity, attentiveness, readiness, and vigor. The questions you need to ask fear are, what action should be taken? Fear is there's a lot of stories around fear. Fear is the opposite of love. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. There was a horrible one I read, which was an acronym, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. People hate fear. They hate it. And they really shouldn't, because fear is crucial to your capacity to understand your environment and to know what's happening and what might happen and what's coming next, and to help you understand change and anything new. Like, what was that? Fear is about the present moment. It's about how good you are at understanding where you are and what's happening. That's all it is, right? When something is a hazard, there's another emotion that needs to come forward to help you sort of fight, flee, or freeze, and that's panic. But fear is about the present moment. If there's something out in the future, like something you need to prepare for, that's not fear. That's not fear's job. That's the job of worry and anxiety. They handle the future. Fear is about the present moment. And fear is basically your capacity to just be here now, know what's around you, and be aware. That's it. When it ramps up to anything higher, like if there's some real problem, that's not fear anymore. There's another emotion that needs to come and help you. Fear is about your instincts, your intuition, and your capacity to be present. So when you do a Be Here Now meditations or of any kind, what you're working with is that soft and delicate and really subtle form of fear. It's a wonderful emotion. They all are. But it's really interesting to me how much hatred has been focused on fear. I don't think that, well, there's one book by Gavin de Becker called The Gift of Fear. It's wonderful if you have a chance to read it. And he talks about how people who survived crimes and really intense situations by listening to their body. By listening, what do I do? And even making actions that were objectively weird and getting themselves to safety by listening. So he's one of the few people I've seen who goes into fear, understands it, and embraces it for its genius. In my book, I give a number of skills that you can use to get yourself, sort of in your body and grounded and able to access your emotions. Fear is so wonderful that it is a part of my grounding and focusing exercise, which you should pretty much do all the time. Keep yourself grounded by breathing in, breathing downward, touching your body, and just focusing around yourself softly at the room. Just where am I? What's going on here? Not being off in the future, being right here. Breathing in again, breathing down. That's sadness. Anything that relaxes you and helps you down-regulate is the soft and subtle form of sadness coming in to help you. Anything where you're orienting, knowing where you are, knowing what's around you, that's the soft and subtle form of fear. Welcome your fear. It's a wonderful friend. It will help you in every possible moment of your life. And anybody who says otherwise, they don't understand fear at all. Welcome your fear. Welcome fear. And we'll talk more about the rest of the fears in the upcoming weeks. Thank you very much.